Well, I wish Dr. Carson and I were a part of that white panel that you just had, because it does have a race dimension. We should Carson and I, we come out of a body of experience different than your previous guest.
All right, folks, welcome to Gimme 5. Jesse Jackson on Fox News Sunday going against Ben Carson. But in the middle of it, Jesse Jackson says, I wish that Ben Carson and I were on your all-white panel, which preceded us. Juan Williams was on that panel. What is this, Harry Reid disease? Remember Harry Reid said that 5 white men on the Supreme Court decided Hobby Lobby? Clarence Thomas, white? No. Juan Williams? Juan Williams is a liberal. So, again, Jesse Jackson, calm down with the race stuff. Get it straight, will you? But they were debating, Jackson and Carson, Ferguson and blacks in America, the whole thing. Here's more.
How many times was he shot, and where was he shot, and why he lined the street for several hours? That was a kind of a state execution.
State execution. Reverend Jackson, how can you say that when you really have no idea what happened in that shooting?
What I do know is he was shot unarmed and shot 6 times, and it's a pattern. Whether it was the killing of Trayvon Martin, the killer walked away free.
All right. He also referenced Amadou Diallo. How could you say such a thing? First of all, Jesse Jackson told me on this show that no matter what the circumstances, no justification for the officer to have shot Michael Brown, which is insane on its face, okay? And not true legally speaking, by the way. But how could you say he was executed, Reverend? Well, there's a pattern. Trayvon Martin, well, what does that mean, a pattern? We're talking about this case. But you want to talk Trayvon Martin? Trayvon Martin's shooter was found not guilty. Not guilty. You want to talk Amadou Diallo, as he also brought up? That happened in New York many years ago. A black jury foreman in that case. And those officers were found not guilty. So maybe Jesse Jackson would like to make it where cops can't shoot a suspect. Maybe Jesse Jackson would be happy about that. But that's not what the law says. And case after case, these trials are held and the shooters are acquitted. Why? Racism? Not with blacks on the jury. So, come on, Reverend. Enough is enough. Really. Enough is enough. More.
It seems to me that the police act as judge, jury, and executioner. And even under the worst scenario, if he had hit him in the face, does that require at a distance? I was there where he was shot about 20 feet. Does that mean you shoot him 6 times, 4 times at point blank range? I don't think so.
You don't think so? Oh, you're the cop. You don't think so. Cop has a right to fire at a fleeing suspect after he's been hit in the face and after he's been his gun has gone off, if that were the case. But Jesse Jackson doesn't think so. It's ludicrous that we even really, to be honest with you, that we give any credence to what he says. Here's Dr. Ben Carson.
And if you take race out of the issue altogether, and you take a group of young men and you raise them with no respect for authority, not learning to take on personal responsibility, having easy access to drugs and alcohol, they're very likely to end up as victims of violence or incarceration. It has nothing to do with race. Right.
It has nothing to do with race, and that's what he's talking about. And here's one more. Jesse Jackson firing back.
But Rosa Parks was not guilty. But the law said colored from the rear and whites from the front. There's a culture here of racial harassment of black people. We're 3 times the unemployment rate in the country. #1 in infant mortality, #1 in short life expectancy, #1 in unemployment. And so we cannot escape the need for something, since we're talking about broadly, like the Kerner Commission report, where we analyze this very broadly. We were separate and unequal, now we're free and unequal.
All right, separate, not equal, now free and unequal. Rosa Parks. You know what? Rosa Parks? Really? Enough. Enough with Reverend Jackson and this nonsense. On the Steve Malzberg Show, stay tuned for your Newsmax Now update.